um, so yeah, so brilliant.
Good.
It's a lovely day today, much better than pouring rain.
So so Rhonda's just, what we'll do is we turn off our cameras and then she puts up a welcome screen while we're just waiting. Oh, I think maybe some people are in the.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay. So we'll just.
Hello, everybody. If you're just joining in, we're just going to wait till a few more people are logged in to start our fantastic webinar for today. So I think we'll probably get started. I know, because this is such an exciting webinar. I know, Julie, this is pretty close to your heart, and you've had an opportunity to kind of join in. So I just wanted to welcome everybody for joining us today on our little webinar series where we explore different destinations to keep our travel dreams alive and give you some food for thought of where you would like to visit to next. I know a lot of us can't wait till we start traveling, and the end is coming closer and closer. So we really wanted to focus on some experiences that you can have when travel. And today is definitely going to be one of those. And I think it's going to be fabulous. So thank you so much for joining. I'm Rhonda Svian, the leisure manager at Paul Travel, and my beautiful co-host, Julie Beck-Dash. Hello, Julie.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I was going to say good morning to Monika.
Yes, Monika. Julie's going to be introducing Monika very shortly. Just before she does, just a couple of things. Today is a little bit different. If you have any questions throughout the presentation today, please ask them right away. We don't have to wait till the end of the webinar and the Q&A session or anything. So just type them in either the chat box or the Q&A box. That would be great. The more questions, the merrier. I know Monika is ready to answer any questions that you may have. And for any of you out there joining, and if you've missed any of our previous webinars before, please visit paultravel.com/webinars. You'll see a list of all of our previously recorded webinars. So you can kind of take a look and see what's exciting to you there. So today, just before we get into it, next week we're doing something a little bit different as well. We're heading north to the Arctic with Adventures Canada. So that's June 10th at 4 p.m. So another great one to look forward to. So I'm going to turn this over to Julie because Julie, I know this is again a special place for you. So, and I'm excited about the animals, of course. For those who know me, I can't wait to see anything related to animals. So off you go, Julie.
Thanks, Rhonda. You're right. I know Australia just has such a special place in my heart. And the first time I was at the Taronga Zoo was my first time to Australia in 2004. And I was able to feed the giraffes some carrots. Their big long tongues come out. And it was just an incredible experience taking the ferry from downtown Sydney over to Taronga and then getting in like a gondola up, and it's kind of set up higher. So you look out and you see the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge in front of you. It's really a special place. And it's changed a lot since I was there, as Monika's going to go into with some accommodations and that. So I will welcome Monika now. She's joining us from Taronga, from Sydney, where it's nice and early on Friday. She's been with Taronga for almost 4 years. And before that, she was working as a sales manager at the Opera House. So she's been in the travel industry a long time. So Monika, I'll pass it over to you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, ladies. It's a pleasure to be here today and to welcome you all to Taronga Zoo. As Julie mentioned, we are forever improving and growing here at Taronga. So I am coming to you from our newest overnight experience, the Wildlife Retreat at Taronga. So we will show you a little bit more about this accommodation a little bit later in the presentation. But first of all, just for those who haven't been to Sydney before, I just wanted to go through a bit of a map and show you our location and also just explain what we do have here for you to be able to see. So as Julie's sharing the screen, which is amazing. So Taronga Zoo, we're actually on a headland and we're on the north shore of Sydney. So we do have the nickname the Zoo with the View. And as you can see in the backgrounds that Julie has on today, we do have amazing views looking back across into the city. So we are only a 12-minute ferry ride from the city. So if you know where the Opera House is, we're actually just a 12-minute ferry ride from that area, and that's called Circular Quay. Now, Taronga Zoo is set on 28 hectares of land, so we take up the whole headland that we do sit on, and we have around 4,000 animals in our care here and about 350 species of animals as well. So while we have an amazing array of Australian animals for you to be able to see, we do have animals from all over the world as well. So on the map that you can see, as Julie mentioned, probably the most iconic way to arrive is by ferry, and then take what we call the Sky Safari, which is that cable car from the lower entrance up to the main entrance. Now you do get to go over some of the animal enclosures. My favorite is the elephants. So sometimes if the elephants are hiding in the back of their enclosure, you'll actually get to see that as you go across. And we actually, as you're coming into the main entrance, we've now got our spider monkeys there. So you're able to see them jumping around everywhere as well. So it's definitely a great way to move up and down the zoo. We are on a headland, as I mentioned, so there are some steep paths. So I would suggest that you definitely take that Sky Safari up to the top and walk your way down the zoo, and then use that Sky Safari to then come back up. You can use it as many times as you want during your time at the zoo. It is included in your general admission ticket. So the other things that are included in your ticket, which are unique, are our free flight birds. So that is a bird show that actually has an amazing view looking back across into the harbour, and you will actually see some really amazing birds, and they do fly quite low, and you do have the opportunity to also interact with those animals and the keepers as well. We do also do Seals for the Wild, so that's our seal show, and we do really talk about less plastics in the ocean, MSC seafood, so you're really getting some of that education when you're coming through as well. But the seal show would have to be one of my favorites. I would avoid maybe sitting in the splash zone if you don't want to get wet, but it's definitely a fabulous experience as well. Now you will see on this map, there are different paths that are highlighted. The yellow path, if you can see that, that is our Australian animal section. So we call that Upper Australia, and that's where you're going to be able to see all of your Australian animals. We do have some down in that red section as well, but the top section is where the majority of those animals are. Now, really exciting for us is that this area is currently, while international borders are closed, is being redone. So we're going to have this amazing treetop koala experience for people to enjoy when borders reopen, hopefully before next year, but for next year, we'll definitely have that open for people to be able to come and enjoy. So that's later in the year next year, but that will be a really exciting area for you to be able to come to. What we do have in that area as well is what we call our Macropod Area, and that's where you can actually walk around, and we have free roaming kangaroos, wallabies and emus in that area. So that's really exciting for you to be able to walk through and see them up close. Sometimes you do have to walk around the kangaroos as they're like sunbaking and being quite lazy, but it is a really good opportunity to get up close to those animals as well. We do also run a lot of encounters, particularly the Koala Encounter. Now at Taronga, it runs a little bit differently to some of the other states in Australia, in that we don't allow you to touch or hold the koala, but you do get really close to them. You do get to ask the keeper a lot of questions about them as well. So it's a really unique kind of experience. Now you can also see on this map, we have a range of keeper talks. We've only just started up those keeper talks again. So it's really exciting for us to start getting back to some sort of normal after COVID-19. So we started slow, and then we'll start to build up to have all of those talks happening throughout the day. So you can actually plan your day at the zoo around those show times and then those keeper talks for those animals that you're really interested in as well. So as Julie mentioned, we do also have lots of, we do have 2 different types of accommodation. We do have Roar and Snore, which is our safari style camping product, and one that does have amazing views and mainly focuses on our exotic animals within the zoo. So that's your giraffes, your elephants, lions, tigers, etc. But the one that I'm in today is the wildlife retreat at Taronga. So it's just on the other side of the zoo where you see that yellow trail. You'll see some buildings there kind of going around just a little bit further over, Julie, just where that round build, yes, just there. So that's the round building. Then you've got your accommodation buildings, and around that in the middle is an animal sanctuary that has Australian animals. So with that, I'm going to swap my camera around, and I'm just going to show you what that animal sanctuary actually looks like. And hopefully the koala should still be in his location. So as if you can imagine waking up to this in the morning. Now we'll pan down here, and there was a koala, if you can see him, fast asleep in the top of one of those trees. Now imagine you're only 12 minutes away from the city, but you're able to see these animals, and there are 2 of them. There's a very lazy one down the bottom there as well, if you're able to see them. I can't zoom in anymore, but if you're able to see them there. Now in this sanctuary, we do have wallabies, echidnas, betons, potoroos. I learned a new animal yesterday called a panda melon. Are all located in this area here. Now, as part of your experience, you do actually get to walk through this sanctuary area as well. Let me just see again that little koala. So I live in Australia my whole life, and I am fascinated by the koalas. I will probably have about 50 photos of that koala by the time this finishes today. So even for locals, it's a really exciting experience. Now, I don't know if you can see, but look, the city's just over the trees. So you are really close to the city when you do come here. Now, these koala enclosures, 3 of the buildings have these trees out the front of them, and they are your koala enclosures, and they each have 2 koalas in front of them as well. So a really unique experience where you don't have to travel that far out of Sydney to have an amazing wildlife experience. So the rooms, this is one of the rooms that we're in now. This is a standard room. So as you can see, really nice neutral furnishings, king beds. We do have them as twins as well, and we do have interconnecting rooms too. So if you are a larger family, then you can go into 2 rooms. Really nice Indigenous artworks on the wallpaper as well, and some really nice furnishings there too. So we do have a lot of sustainability. Oh, that's my finger. We do have a lot of sustainability within the retreat as well. So there's no single-use plastics when it comes to your shampoos, conditioners and soaps, etc. They're all refilled. So definitely that messaging that you're going to get about coming and staying and changing one thing that you do when you go home is really going to be when you come and stay somewhere like this. So we're really going to be pushing that messaging for you as well. Now, I do have my lovely sidekick, Nate, here, who's going to open up the door for us as we say goodbye to this room. And we're going to take you in to experience one of our other rooms and also maybe just showcase some more of this view, because we are, as I said, the zoo with a view. So let's walk on through. Now we've got these amazing green vines that are our green scaffolding as you're coming out. Now the retreat does have its own restaurant as well. So when you have your package, it includes a 3-course dinner. You do also get a breakfast. And as I said, you also get that tour of the sanctuary area as well. So come on through. So I hope you can hear some of the birds that are around at the moment. Today as we come into the next room.
Monika, while you're walking there, can you just tell us like how far in advance you should be booking these rooms? Do these typically book up quite far ahead of time?
Look, at the moment, what we're finding is that because it's all domestics, that it's mainly a month out. Definitely for internationals, we would recommend booking at least that 6 months out, especially to be able to get some of the room types that you would be after. So come on through. So this is again another standard room that we have. Now, pull back this curtain, very dramatic style. We've got that amazing view of the Harbour Bridge, the Opera House, and a koala right there in front of your room. So it is an absolutely amazing experience to come here and get really close to that Australian wildlife. You've got the couches here in your rooms as well, so you're able to pull back the windows, sit down here and just stare at this koala for as long as you would like to. And again, that amazing view as well. So it is a really unique place to come and stay. It's very new for us, only opened in 2019. So unfortunately, we then had bushfires here, and then we had COVID-19. So it reopened last year in July, and we're ready and waiting for internationals to come and enjoy it.
It's a beautiful room and the view is so nice. Like you said, it's so convenient to town. And it's something that probably a lot of people don't know about.
Exactly. And I think as well, you could use us as your hub. You don't necessarily need to stay in a hotel in the city, especially if you're wanting to do a lot of activities where you'll be catching the ferry. We do have our own ferry wharf, so you can actually use us, come and stay here for a couple of nights, and then just use our ferry wharf to be able to move around the city. From here, you can get to Manly, Darling Harbour, Circular Quay, Watson's Bay. So you can get to all of the areas that you would want to go and visit as well. But yeah. There's that koala again. We will go into what we call our nest, which is our lounge area now. And then we'll show you again the view, and hopefully we see some of the other animals that make their home in the sanctuary. So let's go for another little walk through. We'll follow Nate, who didn't know he was going to be on camera today. So
yeah, I did forget to introduce Nate. He's with the a Youth at the Zoo program that Taronga does. So he's
Yeah, so Nate is a volunteer youth person at the zoo. So they generally help out quite a lot during our school holiday period. Now, this is our nest area, which is called the Nuggera Lounge in Camaragal, which is the language of the local Indigenous population that would have lived here. Now, this is the area where the guests, you guys, can come and sit. You can have a drink at the bar, and it's where your tours will depart from as well. In winter, we do light the gas fire here as well. And we do have this amazing deck out here. So in the warmer months, the doors will be open, and you can come straight out here. So just wait while I open one of these doors. And again, you've got that amazing view, and you've got one of our aviaries right here as well. So you're able to see and hear all of the Australian birds. And again, you've got that amazing view looking back across into the sanctuary as well. Oh, and actually you can see that koala a lot better now. So I'll show everyone that koala. You can see that koala in the distance there. I'm hoping you can, just above the fence. He's just sitting there, that little grey ball, just there. So we do have, oh, and look, if you can see near that blue bin, we do have one of our other marsupials that lives here. So the keepers are actually in here at the moment doing their husbandry work and cleaning up. And then in the afternoon when we do the tours, so that's when you check in, you'll get a 45-minute tour in this area with one of our keepers. And that's when they'll be feeding the animals. So you will get quite close to a lot of the animals in this area. But yes, you can see that. Can you see that, Julie? The little...
yeah, just a little bit, but yeah, we see something there beside the beside the blue bin.
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Aww.
So as I said, we've got the keepers in here at the moment, moving around, and as I said, we do have quite a lot of iconic Australian animals in here, but also ones that you've never heard of before, like a bettong or a panda melon. I'd never heard of those animals before. Actually, a panda melon I only heard about yesterday. So you definitely do still learn a lot of things when you come here to see these animals.
I just saw it. I saw it hop away.
Oh, did you? It's probably just scared by my loud voice because it's rest time now in this area here. Now, the other thing I should say is that when you do arrive at the wildlife retreat, you do actually pass 2 platypus ponds on your way down. The platypus are uniquely very hard to see, but we do have one that is extremely excited to see people. So he usually does welcome you. So his name's Mackenzie. And he'll usually be swimming around quite a lot. So again, a really unique experience to be able to see one of those animals as well before you actually do begin your stay here at the wildlife retreat.
Oh, wow. What, Monika, I don't know what a betong is either.
A betong is a marsupial.
Okay.
So it's a small marsupial, looks very similar to a small little wallaby, but a little bit smaller. We have had some babies in here as well in this sanctuary area. So this is the area, and I should say those koalas live here, and so do the animals in the sanctuary. So they're not brought in and out. So this is where they live. With the koalas, they may go out with the vets just to have a checkup, but otherwise they are always in here. So even at night, you will hear the animals rustling around, and you will be able to see them as well. And the echidnas usually walk up and down the path. It's a very well-trodden path for those echidnas as well. But I hope you guys can hear all the sounds of the zoo. It's exciting in the morning to be able to be here and hear those sounds. And sometimes with the wind, depending on where it's going, you can actually hear the seals clapping, a lion or 2 roaring, maybe a tiger as well. So although the zoo's big, you still hear some of those animals when you're walking around or waking up. I know numerous times I've arrived at work and you can hear the seals clapping and I'm nowhere near the seals. So it's a lovely experience to be waking up, see the hustle and bustle of the city in the distance, but not really be in that hustle and bustle.
So Monika, sorry if you mentioned this, when the guests who are staying there, they get a private tour. Is that before the zoo opens or after hours?
So the tour is actually of the sanctuary, which is this area here.
Right.
Currently, we are also running a tour in the morning of the aviary. So that aviary that you just see in front of me, every 15 minutes, we will run a tour of the aviary for guests who are wanting to go in. And yes, that tour is before it opens to the zoo, opens to the public. So you do get to walk through the zoo before it opens to the public. The retreat guests also get a 2-day pass into the zoo. So there is a side gate, so you get a bit of a sneaky entrance into the zoo as well. So you can go in as many times as you like during your stay, obviously during zoo hours. The only time that you'll go in before the zoo opens to the general public is when you go and do that aviary tour. There are some other options. We will hopefully be reintroducing some tours that because of COVID we've currently stopped, and that would be a proper morning tour in the zoo with one of our keepers. So we can always update your agents on that when that happens, but currently we're just running the aviary tour.
Okay.
But as you can see, it's a really lovely location. It's a unique overnight experience, and I think for us, definitely the US is one of our target markets. So, you know, we're ready and willing and waiting for you guys all to come back. This is definitely something that will tick a lot of boxes when you do come here, especially if you're only coming for a short period of time and maybe can't get out to some of our other outback areas to have these animal experiences, then this is definitely a really good option to still be able to tick off some of those boxes that you need to when you come to Australia. But yeah,
That's incredible.
I'll put it back onto me, which isn't such a great view, but
Oh yeah.
So
I was going to ask you what it's like. I've never been in an enclosure with an emu. What are they like?
So emus can be they're one of those animals that could stare you down a little bit. But definitely not something to be afraid of. When you walk through that area that we have in the zoo, there are our volunteers there. So they will help you if an emu is getting a little bit aggressive. They'll tell you how to walk past that emu. But I think most people, when any animal's staring at you, they're a bit like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So emus are fine. They're all good.
Yeah. Okay.
And generally the emus will be the ones that will stay in the corner. And it's actually the kangaroos and the wallabies that will come out, mainly because they like to sit in the sun or they want to stand on the rock. So they're the ones that you can get quite close to.
Okay. They're so cute. I love those little wallabies.
Oh, they're amazing. The wallabies are incredible. And we have, look, so many amazing animals at the zoo as well. Our Great Southern Oceans really talks about all of the local seals that we have, our local penguin population as well. So although you may know some sort of penguins, then come and meet our little like native kind of penguins that we have here as well, the fairy penguins. So it's really unique. It's either a full day, come and walk around the whole zoo, or come for half a day. As I said, we're only 12 minutes away from the city, so it's really easy for you to be doing something in the afternoon and then coming across and seeing us in the morning. We do run some amazing tours that take you behind the scenes as well, especially when you're wanting to meet some of those Australian animals. And so the Taronga Wild Australia experience is a great product. You actually get to spend 2 hours with one of our keepers, which I think is absolutely incredible. They have so much animal knowledge. They work with those Australian animals every day, so they can give you some really cool facts and, you know, really personalize those animals in the tour for you. And then we have our Aussie Gold, which is a walking tour through our Australian animal section, which is just amazing. So there are all those products that, yes, you definitely need to pre-book those tours. The group sizes are really small, so 8 people on the Taronga Wild Australia experience and only 6 on the Aussie Gold. You do get encounters with those tours as well. And don't forget as well, if you're a larger family and you want to take a tour exclusively, you can do that as well. So if you just want the 4 of you in your family to have that experience by yourselves, then yes, you can also book that tour experience exclusively for you. So it's a really nice way to get to know the zoo. And look, some people want to do a tour and they want a specific animal or they want to learn more about one animal, and, you know, always send that through to us. We're more than willing to see what we can do when it comes to things like that, because we do have a large range of animals. We're also a conservation society, so, you know, we can definitely give you a lot more information on some of those things that we do too. For example, I don't know if you know the corroboree frog. It's a very little frog. It's black and yellow. That little frog was actually very close to extinction here in Australia. And we actually run a conservation breeding program for that frog that now we're releasing it into the wild again. So its wild populations are starting to grow. So there's a lot of really unique work that we do here at Taronga that really helps those populations in the wild as well. And it's not just in Australia, it's all over the world.
Do you have Monika, another example? That's so awesome to hear about those frogs, of other animals that are highly endangered that are thriving.
Yeah, we do have also our Regent Honeyeater. So when we first walked into the lounge, you would have seen those bird lights that were hanging from the ceiling. That's actually a Regent Honeyeater. They're a local bird. And again, they were on the verge of extinction. We have really helped with our Regent Honeyeater program to really bring their populations up in the wild. And that's what we're doing also in places like Sumatra with the rhinos, with tigers. We're really working with a lot of those organisations to fund and help grow the populations in the wild and protect them, you know, create sanctuaries as well so that those animals aren't being attacked or hunted, and give those communities that live around there other means of incomes as well.
Awesome.
I'm being drowned out by all the birds.
Yeah, it's so nice to hear. The morning is such a beautiful time. I feel like when I was, something I remember being at Taronga, I remember how active the animals were. I don't know why compared to other.
And I think here at Taronga, we try really hard to make their habitats as close to their natural habitats as possible. So sometimes, yes, you do need to really hunt and look for the animals, but I think that's half the fun of coming to a zoo, isn't it? Is necessarily not having them right in front of you, but trying to see who can find them first and who can spot the eye of the animal first. And definitely when we had our tiger cubs that are now grown, that was the case. They would always hide somewhere. So you'd all be looking for these orange little stripes somewhere. And you could spend hours there just standing there trying to see and watch them when they did come out. So definitely I would recommend planning to come for a day to Taronga. There is a lot to see and do here, and you can bring your own picnic, sit in one of the lawns and have a picnic as well. So we do have obviously food facilities here too, but it's always nice to bring your own picnic as well.
Oh, awesome. Monika, is Taronga part of the Vivid Festival again this year?
So we're not actually part of Vivid this year.
Okay.
We're actually trying to reimagine and recreate how we are part of Vivid. So I think next year will be bigger and better than ever. And for those that don't know, Vivid is the lights festival that happens in winter here in Sydney. So we activate Taronga Zoo, the foreshore, and it's an amazing lights festival. Projections up on buildings, lots of light installations everywhere. And generally what we've done is massive light installations of animals. So for example, walking down one of the footpaths and there'd be all these lit up spiders everywhere, lasers and light shows. So it is really fascinating. But yeah, we're really working on what we can do next year so that we can really bring it back to life. Which will be fabulous. So yeah, Vivid this year is in August. Usually it happens around May. May and June, end of May, beginning of June.
Okay. Oh, good. It's good to know. Yeah, I'd love to come for that.
I'm eating all my hair at the moment. Sorry.
What is the average number of nights that people stay?
So look, with the wildlife retreat, our model has always been one night. And look, for one night, you get all the whiz bang in one night. As I said, it's your overnight accommodation. It is your sanctuary tour that you'll get as well, your 3-course dinner in our restaurant on site, as well as your breakfast and then that morning tour of the aviary, and then your 2-day ticket into the zoo. Now, if you're staying multiple nights, there are enough options in the restaurant for you to stay 2 to 3 nights and not have to eat the same thing. And then we can spread that program out for you. So you may want to do the sanctuary tour one day. You may actually want to join it again on another day, but you can then decide. So when you check in, you can actually decide the timings with the staff at the wildlife retreat and what days you would like to do things as well. We have had people stay up to 4 nights here. And, you know, average would be 1, but we do have people at the moment staying 2 nights as well. So coming and spending a weekend. And then, as I said, using your ferry pass and being able to move around on the harbour. I mean, it's not a bad way to have to commute if you have to do it. Definitely to get to the other iconic tourist places that you would want to get to as well.
Awesome. And you have various webcams. Do you in your animal enclosures?
Yes, we do. So during COVID, we launched Taronga TV. So you can click on our website, and from the website, it will then take you to Taronga TV. We do have live webcams, tiger, seals. I'm trying to think, there's a couple, elephants, lions. So we do have those. We also have quite a lot of other information. So platypus being released into the wild, a lot of other videos that you can see and other information, as well as some of those keeper talks that you can actually come and see here. They're actually on Taronga TV. And we do actually have a documentary, which I do believe has aired in the States, maybe on Nat Geo. And it is a behind the scenes look at what happens at Taronga Zoo. So the conservation work that we do in regards to getting injured animals rehabilitating them and then releasing them back into the wild. But then also just generally what happens in a zoo. As I said, we're 28 hectares. We're a huge zoo with a lot happening and going on as well. But you do get to see some really unique parts of what happens behind the scenes in that documentary as well. And we've just actually wrapped season 2 of that. So that should be coming soon, hopefully in the US as well.
Good.
Yeah, but there are definitely a lot of ways you can interact with Taronga. We do also have a YouTube channel, so we do also put a lot up on YouTube as well. And obviously, you've got the lovely staff at Paul's Travel to be able to ask a lot of questions, and they can email me through as well. But as I said, we've definitely got products that are there for you to book. But we can definitely bespoke and do something special. If you're here for a special occasion and you want to do something special, then let us know. We won't say no. We'll see what we can do.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I love that we have these connections around the world to help our clients have really personal and unique experience. And I think a lot of people are going to, once things open up, going to be taking that trip where they put off celebrating, graduation or birthday or an anniversary and looking for a really unique, special thing. So we know.
Yeah, exactly. And we're definitely here willing and able to welcome you all back. I can't wait for borders to reopen. It'll be very exciting.
Yeah.
And we've definitely got all the products here for you to be able to book and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Monika. It's just so, technology is incredible. Just being able to see you across the world and be able to just lifetime be able to see.
I know. It's very amazing, all of this technology, isn't it?
Yeah,
really,
it is
fabulous.
And definitely connected us. So
to share too, I don't know if you all got to see this, but I wanted to share this. This is what we would have at the beginning of the presentation. But if you look on the left-hand corner, there's our Julie interacting with the giraffes.
Yes, 2004, a few years ago. But yeah, it was so funny.
Was that one of the giraffe encounters that you did?
Yes, it was. And they just twist their tongue around that.
I don't know why, but they have got the longest tongues. They're purple. And over here, you feed them the tiniest bit of food. So it's mainly your hand that their tongue's wrapping around, which is unique and fun at the same time. And yet, say there are a lot of encounters that we do at the zoo, but they do need to be booked on site. So once you've booked your ticket to come, then you can come first thing in the morning and book them. Obviously, animals are like anybody else. They may get up and not want to interact for the day. So we don't pre-sell those sorts of things. But how exciting. It's such a unique experience. I've got photos of me doing that as well. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's so wonderful.
It's so cool when you can get up close and personal with those
definitely
animals. Good. Well, I think that's good. Thank you so much for your time, Monika.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was lovely to see all of you and explain some little bits about Taronga Zoo, and hopefully it makes you want to come and visit us when the borders reopen.
Definitely. Can't wait.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care, Monika. And thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Bye, everyone.